Welcome back to the Right Take Report. Today we're going to dive into some interesting contradictions from the left, as per usual, with different street interviews and different videos where they unknowingly somewhat agree with our boy and convict Trump. Let's break it down.
I think you can get a lot more opportunities if you're white, so yeah.
Where have you seen examples of that, or what is there like a law or something in place that's making that, that's a fact? Or
any examples? I mean, honestly, I can't list off any examples off the top of my head, but there are examples out there. I think there are. So yeah.
Okay. Have you experienced white privilege? Have you experienced the outcomes of white privilege? Is there an opportunity you didn't get specifically because of your race?
The only thing I would say is scholarships, but no, not really. I think that's the only thing I would say, just scholarships.
So you didn't get a scholarship because you're black?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There are a couple ones out there that only wants white people, so it's there are some technical scholarships, engineering ones out there, but I think that's only a race thing in general, because there are black scholarships that only let black people do it, so it's yeah.
What school denied you a scholarship because you're black?
I cannot list off the top of my head, but there were one or two. I can't list off the top of my head.
And they said that you didn't get it because you were black?
No, they didn't straight out blatantly said that, but
that's just what you felt?
Yeah, that's what I felt.
So that's just a feeling, right? That's not really a...
Well, yeah. I guess it's all just a feeling thing, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any issues within the black community as far as racist towards each other?
Honestly, besides racist jokes that we be telling each other all the time, I have never really encountered any racism, honestly. I think Detroit is just such a primarily black area. I think you really just don't really encounter that. But if you go out, if you really, really go out, I think you'll probably encounter it, just one or two. I have had a friend who have encountered that when he was applying for his driver's license. He has gotten some racist remarks, or they thought that he didn't have his green dot card or something like that, which it was crazy. But yeah, there is some stuff out there. So yeah.
Just a quick remark. First off, quick shout out to her Patriot Voice. This is a really, really good channel I just discovered, but let's break this down. This first gentleman in this discussion speaks with so much confidence about how white privilege supposedly gives people more opportunities, yet he has no evidence. He's never experienced any form of racism, but he still has these beliefs. That's quite odd to me. Conviction like his should be backed by facts, but in this case, it's all feelings, just as he said. Of course, he can't list scholarships or schools that denied him because he was black, because it's based on his actual feelings, not actual data. In the current education system, there is no widespread evidence that white people are systematically given more opportunities than black people. It's just purely not true, if not the opposite at this current point. Sure, in some extremely rare and specific cases, his logic may apply, but in the broader context of the entirety of the country, this just does not hold up.
What do you think about the statistic of 95% of black people are killed by other black people?
That is low-key true. I'm not even gonna lie, because there are a lot of cousins and stuff like that get murdered by other black people because of gang affiliated stuff. So it's yeah, that is totally a possible. Well, that is totally out there. So yeah. I will agree with that.
I mean, that's a really large percent of black people dying at the hands of people that are supposed to be our community, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what do you have to say about that? The past 5 years we've heard that during the Black Lives Matter riots that white people are the problem. It's these white cops, but then nobody wants to pay attention to that statistic. And you said it was low key true. You agree with it. So why do you think we're putting all the blame on white people when the statistics show differently?
I think the main reason why people are putting the blame on white people is because what they did prior to phones and what can record now, because
slavery.
Basically, because I think that's where it all really stems from. Because since you're white, you legit are basically connected with all that other stuff. Even though that you don't really do that yourself, it's still a stereotype that everybody pushes on another one.
How can you connect owning slaves to people when nobody alive here today in the United States is that's white has owned a slave?
Exactly. I don't know. I don't really agree with that at all, honestly, because I legit have Caucasian friends that I'm legit friends with every single time, and my boss is Caucasian, and a lot of my friends are Caucasian, so it's I just really just don't get it, honestly. Yeah. But I mean, they're right.
Last question. So what would you say to someone who is black or a minority and says that all white people are racist?
Outrageous statement.
Okay, I agree.
Outrageous statement.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I feel yeah.
Just to quickly recap that conversation, I think he was a pretty based person in terms of the interview, but let's talk about his whispering in terms of the gang affiliation. This comes up in the interview. Why does he whisper? If something is true and a problem in society, like black people killing other black people, which is the high percentage of the time of what happens, it should be called out, if not loudly, not whispering. Instead, he shifts the blame onto white people for the fact that most black homicide victims are killed by other black people, as I just said. He completely ignores a key issue, which is, as Charlie Kirk brings up many times, fatherlessness in the black community. There are many, many black families without a father, in terms of 25% of black children growing up in a two-parent household. Only 25%. That is 1 in 4 who are actually growing up in a proper family household. This statistic alone has a massive impact on crime rates and socioeconomic mobility. Instead of addressing this reality, he somehow tries to tie it into today's violence and the events that happened hundreds of years ago. As he said, nobody's a slave owner. He has plenty of Caucasian friends. It doesn't make any sense. He's contradicting himself left and right.
Only white people can be racist because they're like the only people that that cause racism. You know, like they went through any of like racism. They haven't went through any. You know, like they haven't really been gone against. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that only like black people have experienced racism?
Well, black people, Asian people. I feel like white people haven't really been through any racism, so it's. I don't think they could be. Because some people say that black people are racist towards white people, and I don't really think that's true, because they haven't really been through any racism.
Well, what do you think if a black person says, I hate white people? Would you say that that's a racist statement? I'm sure I've heard black people say that before. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
But no.
So is it racist if I say I hate black people?
Yeah.
So why is it not racist if I say I hate white people?
Because y'all were never slaves. They never like.
Well, Irish people have been slaves. Jewish people, who are usually considered white because they're lighter skinned, have, the Holocaust.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's not as like a big of a deal, to be honest.
To be racist toward white people?
I mean, it's still wrong to like be hateful towards anybody, but I just think it hits different when it's towards other races.
Do you think it's fair to be like to say the statement I hate white people to somebody who has never owned a slave, who has never
fair. It's not fair at all. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know. I feel put on the spot.
No problem. Well, yeah, I mean, can you name any examples of like white privilege, if that's something you believe in, that's happening today?
Just to quickly recap what she is saying, the idea that only white people can be racist is absolutely ridiculous in nature. Racism is based on the color of skin, and it can be pointed to almost anybody. And it's existed for thousands of years and has affected people of all types of ethnic backgrounds, including white people. The woman in this discussion is clearly privileged. She's holding her Starbucks cup, and she's living in the United States, a country that offers the most incredible opportunities to everybody, regardless of her race. Her take is just ignorant. Saying I hate white people or expressing hatred towards any race is absolutely racist. Maybe she feels that racial issues hit differently for personal reasons, but as human beings, we are supposed to think beyond emotions and look at facts. Racism should be recognized for what it actually is, not just through a personal lens of victimhood.
For example, like police. Like, I feel like police are more, I don't know, like police are more, like white people get away with more stuff when it comes to the police. I feel like police keep an eye on black people more, you know. I feel like white privilege, like they maybe get better job opportunities. They're just trusted more. They're trusted more.
Do you kind of think about maybe why that might be, that maybe it's not racism, maybe it's the fact that, we talk about white people killing black people, but actually it's 95% of black people, they're killed by other black people. With that statistic, these areas are more heavily policed.
Right, yeah. Well, you can't really argue with the statistics.
Yeah. So do you think that the problem is white people and racism, or do you think that maybe there's some issues within our own community? I mean, I'm not denying that racism exists, but
there definitely is issues within the community. That's a big topic I hear a lot of people talk about too. So I agree with that. Mm-hmm. So I could see why like they have more problems with the police because it's already an issue like within itself. So yeah.
And also I think it's not fair either to say like that it's all police, because I think there are some bad cops and there are some good ones that actually do try to, of course there's cops that are black as well, right? Yeah. So, there's good cops and bad cops, and so I think maybe it's just not fair to kind of group all people together, like you said earlier, right, to say like, all white people are racist, because not every white person has owned a slave, not every white person has been racist, so.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay, well thank you for talking to me, I hope you stay warm.
Now, let's just quickly address my final thoughts for this video. The claim that white people get away with more when it comes to police interactions is just untrue, given that there is lack of policing in major cities where most of the violent crimes committed by the African American population. So this is in itself contradictory, because if there was more police in white areas, there would be more arrests on white people. But they don't seem to be doing all the crime. However, it is true that 100% of Americans today, maybe 99.9999%, have never owned a slave, and yet still are related to people that have done these historical injustices.
What were you guys chanting?
Deport Musk.
Oh, that's very bold. And what do you mean by that?
Well, Musk is from South Africa, and Musk is, careful. Musk is in with everyone that, he's in with Trump, and Trump's big plan is to deport millions of immigrants. He's an immigrant.
I mean, why do you want to deport him? Like, he's an African American.
I want to deport him because he's violating our Constitution, and he's doing a lot of illegal things.
But is his immigration status, is he illegally here?
I don't know if he's illegally here.
Do you think that we should deport illegal immigrants?
If someone has a criminal background, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Well, great.
But you know what? My grandparents poured in here with millions of other immigrants at the turn of the 20th century. They lived in the Lower East Side. They worked in factories. We became a fabric of this country. This country is all about immigrants. If we deported all the immigrants, a lot of sectors in this country would collapse. All the people taking the fruits and vegetables, all the people building the buildings. Our economy rests on immigrants. Give people a pathway to legal residency.
Well, what I've heard is right now Trump is just focusing on the undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes. Do you think that somebody should be able to come here illegally, and then on top of that, which is that's already a crime, coming into the country illegally, then committing a crime like rape or violence? Do you think they should be deported?
Sure.
Okay. So you agree with Trump then?
No, I don't agree with Trump.
But that's what Trump believes.
No, Trump does not believe that. Trump believes anyone who's here illegally.
Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Because that's a
don't
crime.
Don't my words.
Oh, no.
And I don't believe coming here in search of a better life is a crime.
Okay. Awesome. But there's a legal way to do it, right?
I'm done.
Elon Musk has got to go.
This whole damn system's got to go.
Right here, just everybody know.
Capitalism has got to go.
Your friend is the one who said she believes in deporting immigrants. She said it with her mouth, though, that she believes
You're twisting the words, of course.
I asked her that question and she said that.
Right.
Do you want to be on the interview?
Not particularly, because I know where you'll post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just to quickly recap what she just said. First off, let me get this straight. These two women are okay with deporting Elon Musk, who has brought tons and tons of business to the United States, but they're fine with letting 5,000 to 10,000 immigrants in a day. Do you see the hypocrisy in that? It's a pick and choose battle. You can't have it both ways. Either you support immigration enforcement or you don't. It's pretty casual how she doesn't seem to understand that deporting people is about legal status, not her personal feelings about her parents who came into the country and helped build the backbone of the nation. Musk is here illegally, and he's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, every leftist argument about immigration boils down to false claims that illegal immigrants are holding up this country, as I said before. This is just simply not true. A pathway to legal residency has been cast upon our nation for tens, if not hundreds of years, and people know this way, but they're taking advantage because of the lack of administration before Trump. And people can and should come into this country, but doing it the right way, through an organized and secure legal process. Ironically, when you break it down, these women actually align with Trump's stance on immigration. She just doesn't want to admit it. Trump has always believed that criminals and illegal border crossers should be removed, just like that other woman said in terms of we shouldn't have criminals here. Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't have criminals in the United States. We should deport them immediately. They're not going to leave on their own, so it's up to us to do this through enforcement. She agrees, and the other woman agrees, but they kind of refuse to be with Trump because of personal bias. And don't even get me started on the stupid, cringeworthy, hey, hey, ho, ho chant. It is so annoying and overused at this point. Let's just get rid of it and move on to the next protest. It's just so annoying.
You'll be posting.
Well, good thing this is a free country and we can all have different opinions.
But you guys are not reading the news. You're not reading the information.
That's what we're trying to get
You're not
information
reading
from you.
the laws. What you're doing is you're watching Fox News.
Oh, my husband is an
And you're
immigrant, and he
getting-
came here legally, so there's a way to do it properly. Is my argument, and your friend agrees with me, so it's fine. Thank you. That's fine.
If you're going to twist that into an agreement for MAGA policies, then
We're
you guys
not with
are
MAGA
just-
policies.
That's spreading more misinformation.
By
you're just
asking you
spreading
questions, I'm
more
spreading misinformation. By asking questions, I'm spreading
No, by
misinformation.
pretending like you're here, for the rally. But
We are here for
instead-
the rally.
Right.
I believe in human rights.
Why are you marching with us if you disagree with us?
I believe in human rights. That's why
So
I'm here.
why are you marching?
You don't need to touch me.
Actually, I did not touch you.
Okay.
Okay. I did not touch you. Why are you marching with us if you don't agree?
When did I say I didn't agree? I agree with your
Why are
friend.
you marching with us?
I
if you
agree
don't
with your friend.
agree? Why are you marching with us? Why are you marching with us if you don't agree? Why are you marching with us?
Personal space. Are you assuming? Are you assuming my gender? Are you assuming my gender? You just called me a woman. Are you assuming my gender? Thank you.
That's hilarious.
That's really sexist that you just assumed my gender.
That's really sexist that I assumed your gender.
Yes, it's very rude.
So I'm supposed to say this? Okay, this individual. Thanks for supporting us! Woo-hoo! You'll be in the number count. Excellent.
The second woman in this interview is probably a total wreck, let's be honest. She's virtue signaling all the way and just wants to be out there to be out there. She talks in circles, acting like she's making some grand moral argument, and is all-knowing without explaining it. Classic left tactic. Makes no logical sense. This whole situation is just another example of how leftists can't even recognize when they are actually agreeing with Trump on most of what they're saying. They're so blinded by the hatred for him and for the right that they don't even see any of the similarities or alignment in their thoughts, which really can separate and split this country into two when we should be agreeing on our slight similarities rather than distancing ourselves based on our far differences.